Alright, so I'm not going to bore you with another video of me changing oil on something, but I am getting this thing ready for a road trip. We're going to be taking this down to St. Louis at some point here. So I'm just going to go through and change the oil on it. I got to rotate the tires because I think there's about, I don't know, 6,000 or 7,000 miles on this rotation. So I'm going to get the tires rotated. And then also I'm going to change the air filter, and I'll show you that because I haven't done it on this vehicle. It's original, and I think there's 54,000 miles or so on that air filter, so it's probably time. So you're probably asking yourself, what type of filters did he get this time? And now, last time I changed oil, I used a Mobil 1 M1 110 filter and XG7317. We're back doing Fram. Actually, I got a sponsorship through Fram to do my oil changes and air filter and any type of filter that I need. The way it works now with this sponsorship from Fram is that I go to the store, I buy the filter, and then I make a video about it. So that's how it works. Alright, so we're going to start putting oil back in. How much oil does the truck take?
5 3/8.
And how much are we putting in?
5 1/2.
Alright, so 5 1/2, close enough. Alright, so you want to go ahead and put the first one in without spilling. Make sure you're putting it the right way. Don't go too fast. Alright, that's not too bad. Alright, so we're going to do the air filter. We just got done putting the oil back in. So you're going to loosen up this clamp here. Then your mass air meter plug here, your connector. You're going to just kind of push down on this tab on the top, slide it off. And then there should be, well, there's two clips. Probably can't see them, or maybe you can. One here comes from the top down, this one comes from the bottom up. And then there's just tabs in the bottom. Just going to slide it up and work this off. And like I said, this is the original filter. So we'll pull that out and take a look at it. Oh, this thing's pretty small. So that's what it looks like. I don't know, it's not terrible. It's definitely not clean though. Some leaves and stuff in there. And this is be a Nissan filter. So we're going to take this one out, and then actually we'll do a side-by-side comparison with the Fram just to see how it looks. Alright, so we're going to do an unboxing here of the filter. So it comes in a plastic bag. Now this filter here is actually a Fram Tough Guard, so it costs a little bit more than the normal orange and white filter or whatever that normally comes with. So that's the Fram filter Tough Guard. It's a TGA 7440. I think the cheaper economy kind is like a FA 7440 or something like that. So anyway, you can see here the pleats actually look like there's more pleats on the Fram filter. The height is exactly the same, so nothing there's any different. So, and this was I want to say like maybe 11 bucks, where the cheaper filter was probably like 6 maybe. So this looks like it's a pretty decent filter overall when you compared it to the factory filter, and this is the Fram. It looks about the same. So there you go. That's a Fram filter there. Alright, so we're going to install this filter. So that not really too much to it, and then you have these 3 loops here. You're going to line those up with your tabs. You might have to kind of slide your air intake pipe here on first. And just make sure that you got it pushed down so they're all in there. I don't think that's it yet. It's not down all the way, I don't think. I don't know, I'm not Chris Fix here. I think that's it. Alright, so we're to the next phase here of checking this thing over before the road trip here. Rotating the tires, and then if you're down to this point, it's always a good idea to do some inspecting on the brakes. Since you got the tires and rims off, it's a little easier to inspect, so we'll take a look at that. Alright, so we're looking at the rear brakes. So if you look down on the inside here, I guess this would be the outside, but on the inside you can see plenty of pad there. And then if you go on the back, there's usually a little window here you can kind of see right there in the middle of the screen. Plenty of brake pads. So like I said, in most cases, if the fronts aren't worn down, the backs shouldn't be either. That's just the way it's kind of laid out, the way it's the brake is proportioned. But that's not to say you couldn't have an issue with slides getting hung up in there and then the rear pads being worn out. Alright, so looking at the front here, you can see there, oh, the mosquitoes are bad. Plenty of brake pad there, and I don't know if we can see back pad here or not. Oh yeah, you can see it sorta. There we go. Plenty of brake pad there too. So these brakes are in pretty good shape for, I think I had about 54,000 miles. So, and there is jack stand and jack here. So YouTube, please just relax. This isn't no dumb schmuck operation here with a fancy pneumatic lift or anything. This is old school with jack stands and jack. Alright, so I got the spare tire down here. We're going to check. There should be 35 psi in this tire. And we'll see. I've never checked it before, but like I said, it's always a good idea to check out your spare tire, because when you need it, you definitely want it inflated. So I'm getting about, looks like 28 psi. So and I think these tires that came with the truck, they said they're good to like 40 psi. So I'm gonna overinflate it probably a little bit, just because I don't plan on checking this spare all the time. So most of the time, your tire maximum pressure is not going to be what the vehicle is requiring. The vehicle pressure will usually be lower in the tire. So like these tires are probably good, I'm going to say to 40, but the car only calls for 35. So it's kind of the same way it worked too. Most of those tires, the big trucks, are like 120 psi is what the tire is good for. But usually you're only running like 100 psi or maybe like 95, something like that. So, and then it's just good to know that this works. So if we were like stranded on the highway somewhere because we blew out a tire, the mechanism here that gets the tire up and down, it works, which is good. It wasn't rusted up or anything like that from salt over the winter. So, and then knowing where the tools are in the car to be able to crank this thing up and down when you needed to. So, and really what you could do is if you blew out your tire and you put this one on, you can put your blown out tire back underneath here, so you don't have to put that stinky tire inside the cab. So I know this one fits a little snug too because it's got an aftermarket hitch and kind of rubs a little bit, but that's kind of what it looks like there. All right, so that's going to be the complete check here. So we went through, we checked the air pressure in the tires, we went and rotated the tires, we checked all the fluids to make sure we got the right levels on everything, transmission, coolant, brake fluid, all that good stuff. Changed the oil, changed the air filter. Before we actually leave for the road trip, I'm going to actually change out the windshield wipers as well, just because it's a good thing to have. And I'm going to take some actual like Windex or something with me in a towel, just so that if I'm stopped somewhere I can clean my windshield. I don't have to be at a gas station. That's just a nice thing to have. Went through, checked all the lights, everything like that. We do have a little box of spare fuses in case we blow one, but that's pretty uncommon now, this day and age. So checked all the major things. The tire pressure, the maximum pressure for these tires are 51, and like I said, this vehicle, it only calls for 35, and that's 35 all the way around, front and rear. So other than that, I think we should be ready to go here. There is no other really maintenance item I think we're missing here. I think we got everything. There is no fuel filter as far as I know that we can change, so I'm not going to do anything with that. I might take these cross posts off, or crossbars, just because we've never used them, and I don't know, it might help being a little bit more aerodynamic maybe. So So I might pull those off. But other than that, I think that's going to be pretty much a completed video here. So we'll shoot some footage on it once we get there.